Oh, there we go. I
We
was
are
about to ask if there was
live.
like a notification, but there's a big old button.
Yeah, just the big old button up at the top. You can see it. All right. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome
Hello?
to August 1st. This is Schmudgeon of Curmudgeon. I am Bill Adams with my other Schmudgeon of Curmudgeon over there, Mr. Dewey Conway. And today we are with a fellow Willow Wraith. Wow, I didn't realize how tongue twister that was when I write that out. But Mr. Timothy Wolff, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Good to have you here.
Yay.
And we also have Tempest in the background. That's his
Oh, yeah.
character, Tempest, down below.
He's hiding some laundry, so he has a very important job to do back there.
Perfect. Oh, Tim McKay's here.
Oh, there you go.
Say hi, Tim.
Tim McKay's the man. Oh, Tim, I'm pretty sure has something coming out tomorrow. Whether a cover
Tim has something
reveal
coming
or
out tomorrow?
something. Can you confirm? The delay always throws me off on these. I'm like staring at myself in the past.
Well,
guys,
while Mr. McKay says, go ahead, Dewey.
I was going to say, before we get totally started, Tim, welcome to the Schmudgeon of Curmudgeon. You're an honorary curmudgeon with us today. But with that said, I'm going to put something in the chat. It's a link. And what I want you to, let me share my screen first.
I don't know what's going on, by the way.
I don't
before,
either.
Yeah, Bill doesn't either. Yeah, this is all on the fly. So I'm going to present my screen real quick here. What we're going to do is I gave you a link in the chat. You should see a curmudgeon scale here. What I want you to do is I want you to rate yourself as your curmudgeon today. What's your curmudgeon? And each of these you should have access to be able to move your little guy around there and rate yourself from 0 to here's your baseball, kid, I'm in a decent mood, to 5, which is get off my lawn, kid, to 10, you're never seeing this ball again.
I guess this is a good time to mention that I don't actually know what curmudgeon means.
Oh, well, well, a curmudgeon is, it's someone, as I'm pointing to me, who, and then Bill as well, who is, can vacillate between extreme grumpy to kind of grumpy.
That works for me. That's pretty good.
So Galdeford is a curmudgeon. He is a curmudgeon. Except the curmudgeons tend to be an older kind of person, like an old man, but that's why we're just a smudgeon of curmudgeon. We're not quite the old.
I assumed it was like something like a club you beat people with, because it sounds like something like that.
That's bludgeon. We're gonna bludgeon you with the curmudgeon.
Close enough.
Rate yourself. Can y'all move these?
I can't do anything.
You gotta go into the private chat, Tim.
Oh,
where is that?
It's on the right-hand side.
There says private chat under comments,
in
banners,
StreamYard?
brand, in stream.
I honestly don't see this.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Can I tell you the rankings, or is that?
Yeah. Just I'll move you. So where would you rate yourself, Tim, today? Are you kind of a curmudgeon? Just kind of little old Tim's an old crotchety grumps. Good.
No,
I like you already, Tim.
All right. So, are those official rankings? Is Bill an 8? That seems pretty high for Bill.
Sometime like today's been a day.
And is this on is this just today or like old time? Because my old time
just today. What's your curmudgeon today? Because some days it's a 10 for me, and other days it's a 9. So
I'm going to go 6. A strong 6.
A strong 6. Yeah. Okay, and I'm going to put myself over here with Bill. I'm like an 8 today too. I've had a pretty good day. So why do you rate yourself a 6, Tim? What's going on with you?
It's been a decent day for the most part. I started off at some good tea, worked 8 hours, and nothing really got me annoyed today.
Okay,
nothing to complain about.
So if some rando kid came on your yard, you just yell at him to get off.
Nah, leave him alone. I figure they're there for a reason. It's like
Oh, yeah. And Bill,
Feeling
why
in a
are
good
you
mood
an
then,
8?
huh, Tim?
Why are you an 8, Bill? What's going on with your
Let's
curmudgeon
not even
today?
get into it, man.
Okay, that's
No,
fair.
seriously, the funny part is, and it's not really because I'm a curmudgeon. I don't know what it is, but it must be a full moon or something. But my little goblin is in like Linda Blair mode this week. Like I need to get Max von Sydow coming out here, throwing holy water.
The power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ. Yeah,
yeah.
that's
I
what we
should note
need.
that I have no kids, so I probably have a weighted score. Make it fair.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, well,
And
it happens.
well, we rated ourselves. So welcome to the group of curmudgeons. I appreciate taking time. Let me stop my screen there. Alrighty. So welcome, Tim. Bill,
Thank
you
you.
want to start us off?
Sure. Do we want to start off with something fun, Dewey, or do we want to have Tim talk about his books first?
Well, I want to hear
What
about
do you want to do? You want to talk something fun?
Yeah, ask you something fun.
Keep going something fun. Okay, Dewey, bring up the fun questions.
Okay. All right. I'm sharing my screen again. Hold on. I gotta get it ready. So give me just a little second. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. Present, share screen, entire screen. There we
Come
go.
on, Mr. Technology.
All right. Excuse me. There's a
this
lot of
is-
clicking. All right. So here we go. We've got 10 questions. 'Tis question time for you, Tim. These are questions that are going to pierce into your soul and really let us know exactly who Timothy Wolff is.
Is that
But
thing
order,
between 1 and 10 a lizard? I can't see from here.
Oh, yes, it is.
Oh,
yes,
okay. I feel like that's
yes.
and this isn't rigged, right? Like this.
No.
No.
So I have a spin the wheel. So let me explain the spin the wheel. If I spin it, it's going to land on either a number, which corresponds to a question over here, or the lizard. The lizard is you, Tim. That's you. And if it lands on the lizard, you get to choose a number that we have to answer. So,
All right.
but I don't know. That's a 1 in 11 chance. So let me spin the wheel. Here we go.
Big money, no whammies.
No whammy. Ah, 5. Number 5. You got 5.
Wait,
I'm gonna
where's
remove it.
the? Oh, I was looking at. I thought it was up top. I thought I got 8.
All right, here we
Yeah, I
go.
was confused on that one too.
Here we go.
We all know pizza bagel bites are the schnizzle. So, what is your favorite bagel bite topping? Piercing into your soul, Timothy Wolff.
This is
We
going to
got to
be an
know.
absolutely disappointing answer. But if you go to the store, you can get like 30 of them frozen. Just
Yeah.
microwave them, and then you just eat them just like that.
Oh,
But yeah,
It's
but which
really
kind
like-
do you get though?
The pizza bagel is kind of like perfect in its natural form, and if you take or remove any piece of it, you just make it worse. So you shouldn't trifle with nature. I mean, the pizza bagel is not meant to be,
in its natural habitat. Well,
it's as close as will come as a people to perfection, and it should not be changed.
So is that natural habitat in the world of cheese, or is it in the world of cheese and pepperoni?
It's a pizza bagel. You can't put it in any other category.
But don't they have other toppings on it though?
Just get the pizza bagel. Don't veer into these like grimdark pizza bagels or anything like that. You just want to get the good stuff.
This is why we have
cozy
only a
pizza
few watchers, because we're talking about pizza bagels.
All right. So you've answered question number 5. So we're only doing one question, right?
Listen, as
Well,
long as you make Tim McKay happy, it's all worth it.
Yes. All right.
Yeah,
well, maybe
let's do one-
Tim,
let's do one
you
more.
answer the question. Tim, you tell us in the chat. What's your favorite bagel bite topping?
All right, let's do one more of these questions, and then we'll talk a little bit.
All right.
These are fun questions.
Here we go. And whammy, no whammy. Number 7. Okay, let me go back. Number 7.
Was that a party thing or?
Outside of sardonyx, what is your favorite non-human book character?
That is
Doesn't have to be
actually
your book. Doesn't have to be your book.
yeah. It's gonna be my book. So
Okay, good.
it's actually Tempest. I love Tempest. He was it's kind of hard to talk about him without spoilers, but he was really fun to write. And if you
Tempest
didn't
is your
know,
background, right, Tim?
yeah, he's the cover character of the second book.
So I think okay, that's good. That is a good segue, Dewey. Good way to choose this. Perfect. Random number question. So Tim, Dewey has not read your books.
Yeah.
I have read all of them, and I just finished this lovely little book
Yes.
the other day. Stayed up well past my bedtime. But
Here they are.
there's the books, all three of them. The third one comes out next Friday,
Next
August
Friday.
9th. But give Dewey a little bit of an elevator pitch and the rest of the people who haven't read The Legacy of Balaam.
So,
Balaam. How do you pronounce it?
Bolum, but I don't
Balaam.
really. You can once you buy the book, you can call it whatever you want. So I mean, okay. Well, the general idea is that there's a group of guardians who defend the world from the gods of death, the gods of fear, and that's all fine and dandy. But they're not supposed to get involved in like inner kingdom conflicts or politics or anything like that. So when one of the kingdoms gets invaded, the main character Serena, she's not supposed to get involved, but she's like, "Hey, you're invading my home." So she immediately involves herself in the war and turns the tide, and that causes a whole slew of problems between the kingdoms and then the gods. And as the gods start making their moves, the other gods, it's like a chess game between the gods. And there's a lot of lizard people, so that's really the most important part.
Yes. And there's a lot of lizard people, which Tempest is on the second cover, the Tears of the Maelstrom, your favorite character. He was awesome in that book. Definitely will say so. But yeah, we can't spoil anything for people that haven't read, which is hard because Tempest has a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a point of view until the second book, and his point of view is a lot of fun to write because he kind of looks at everything from like a writing perspective, and that's pretty much the only character I can do that with. So it's,
Yeah,
So
this is a multi-point of view series, correct?
oh yeah, that's definitely correct.
Well, and
Is that what you're
so
gonna ask,
with
Dewey?
with lizard people, because I'm so totally fascinated by that, as you would know,
Yeah.
these characters are they just look incredibly fascinating. They're not just called lizard people in your book,
Now
so are
the
they?
actual term is the Zephim, which looking
What is
back,
it again?
Zephim. I have no idea why I
Oh,
chose that name.
how do you spell that?
Zephum.
Oh, okay.
Zephim. And that's definitely something I'd go back and change if I had a time machine. But it's not that bad, it works. The biggest
Why would you change
confusion
that?
is what?
Why would you change that?
It doesn't end well with an S. So I just kind of kept the singular name as the plural.
Hmm.
That's one of the things I've learned. Like Klingon's a great name for a race because you have Klingon and Klingons, but Zephims just sounds awful. So I just decided to keep it singular is the same as plural.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a big deal. It's just one of those things you think about in the shower at 2 a.m. It's like,
Yeah, stuff you'd go back and change, right?
Well, when you first said it, it reminded me of Nephilim. Just that same kind of that same pronunciation. But yeah, that's a great name. I think it's a great name. I don't think you should change it.
Well, I can't. So
I guess you can. I guess you or shouldn't want to change it, rather.
Yeah, not at this point. 3 books out.
That's one of the funny things is like after you write the first book, you like kind of a lot more about what you messed up or what you could do better. But when it's a sequel, you have to just kind of work with what you did. So, one thing you'll notice in the novella is that everything is really easy to pronounce.
Oh,
Because
so
that was I definitely regret like Alonimus and Tarangus are like the worst kingdom names because there's so many S's.
Tarangus is one of those when you're reading it, you're like, wait, how is he going to like change this into like when you say America to American?
Yeah.
So
No.
take us back in time then with this. When did you start with Platinum Tinted Darkness? When was that? Like Bill, I know 17 years
Yeah.
you've been working on his book, and I've been working on mine forever.
I've always had the idea in my head. I want it to be a video game because that's kind of how I grew up, like Final Fantasy and all those things. But I mean, I don't have no idea how to make a video game. So in the middle of COVID, I was kind of like, I couldn't. I needed to do something, because there's things were just not going my way, and I was home 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So I figured, it's to start writing, see what happens. If it sucks, who cares, And I just kept going at it, and it was fun because I knew it was horrible at first, but it was words were appearing, and that was really all that mattered. And the first thing I did when I finished the book was I destroyed the first 2/3 of the book and rewrote it from scratch. And that's definitely something I recommend to anybody. Because those first couple chapters that your first thing you ever write are going to be unbelievably bad.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And you kept none of that though?
I mean, I kept the idea of the scene, but like 90% of the book was from Zine's point of view.
Oh.
And like that was fun, but it didn't
Hmm.
work at all. It was like,
So Dewey, for your reference, and for everybody else that hasn't read it yet, Zine is the optimist of
Yeah.
this story. And I joke, and I say this with love whenever I say it, but he's that derpy character that's just like so like idealistic and loves things that nobody else loves. Like there's a book series within this book series that one of the characters writes, and he's like in love with it, and everyone else is just like, no. Which that's my favorite part of the whole series is like they're called the Rinso novels.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part of the whole series, and it comes to full conclusion in the third book, and I'm just like, I'm a nerd like.
What's amazing about that is that wasn't in the first draft at all. That did not
Oh.
exist. So that obviously made certain character arcs very confusing. 'Cause I started, but that is one of the most fun parts of the party in the whole, especially in the second book when you just kind of start seeing the words like kind of like flashbacks of how it all got written.
Yeah.
And you get to like write from the writer point of view, just like the absurdity. It's just like, how can I describe this and make it really fancy for no reason? Because people want that, It's like
I mean, I don't know if this is spoiling Tim for this third book, but Tim gets a little meta as an author writing an book series, and there's a scene where he's talking about M dashes, and I just started cracking up because it's just so stupid. Because I mean, we all love M dashes as writers, but like it's just so funny. Oh man!
I mean, once I discovered the M dash. Like I don't even know if I still have my first draft because it's like every fourth word was like an M dash. It's just like it was like I found the power. Like
You were like, power of Greystone, power of M dash.
Yeah, but the meta stuff's really fun to write because like in the third book, this isn't a spoiler, but they're reading a section of it, and the character whose point of view it is hates the books. And she's like, this sucks. All anyone does is snicker and drift towards things.
Yeah, it's like you making fun of all the reviews from book one, right?
Yeah, because I mean, you have to. They're there, so you may as well just have fun with them.
I'm fascinated that you started this during COVID. Like, so this is a 2020 kind of. You started in 2020, but you had the idea all along, like for a couple of years.
Yeah, I think we all daydream, and it's one of those things where it's like, if I did, because Game of Thrones was big, kind of before this happened, and it was kind of amazing to see like a nerd thing become one of the most important media things in the entire world. Oh, is that it's Jackie. I gotta totally derail my story here. I'm not going over all my books. Daughters of Tith or Tithe. I always forget how it's pronounced.
Green screen, Tim, can't really see it.
Yeah, well, you'll have to take my word for it.
It's a cool cover. It's a cool cover.
Yeah. But to her point, there is a joke about semicolons in the second book. So there is.
Oh my God. Yeah. So, but I'm just fascinated that, you know, this is a big accomplishment. I mean, you have 3 books and a novella out, and you really just started out in 2020. I mean, that's a really pretty awesome turnaround. Like to get your
Oh,
idea and your passion out,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Because
So I think there's some context. I was going through a divorce in the middle of COVID.
oh,
And like
okay.
that sucks because you can't, you're like in a 2-bedroom apartment and you can't really do anything or go anywhere. So
Uh,
Oh,
I just kind of just locked myself in a room, drank scotch, and wrote about lizard people. Which I'm sure if you told that to like a therapist, they would probably frown at you. But it got me through the day.
I mean, we all had to do what we had to do
Yeah.
that first year. Oh man, that's well. Sorry about that part, but at least
No,
you gave
no,
us
it's
a
all good.
great
That went well.
book series. So
Yeah, because honestly, if that didn't happen, these books would never exist. I mean, so it's kind of like because the amount of time it takes to do this is unbelievable. Like the commitment to write and edit and do everything, it truly is unbelievable.
did
but
you?
did you ever have an idea to write before you started writing these, or just kind of like,
Yeah,
no, I'm gonna just try my hand at it because I have this cool idea?
pretty much that. I was pretty much saying, this things really suck right now, and they probably can't get worse. So let's just see how this goes.
Wow.
And I
Wow.
like
But
to think it was the right move.
Well,
yeah,
from the outside looking in, I would say yes,
Yeah.
because these books are awesome. Uh, I loved them. From the first time I saw that PTD, cover, I was like, this book's going to be great, and it was. So, highly suggest to anybody who's watching and haven't read it. They're definitely fun books. And also, I will say, and the Tim Wolf's style is he is great at dropping some epic wisdom surrounded by some really funny lines.
What's funny about that is it never was intentional that way. I got a really stern 4-star review on Tears in the Maelstrom, and it's favorable, but it's stern, and it
Yeah,
kind of points out that they really don't enjoy that style.
really.
And I was like, that's how I write. That's how I will always write. And I kind of didn't realize until that moment, but that's my style, especially in the
Hmm.
novella. I mean, the novella is the
uh,
tone is all over the place, so it's like,
I'm gonna have to
yeah,
go find this review and look at it and see
no, it's
what's up.
excellent. It's one of my favorite reviews I've ever received. But it's like it makes you think because usually when you get something, you think, how can I change that? In this case, I was like, no, this is actually my identity. This is how it's going to be.
Good, good. Yeah, you could definitely tell, like, just from reading the books in order, or the 3 books, like you could see the progression of where Tim is by this fourth or third book, and then the novella. Like I could see your progression as you're hitting your stride. So it's awesome.
I
I
feel
can I
definitely
ask
say
about the
don't change.
covers? Like
yeah.
how who did them?
The artist is called Alejandro Colucci. He's worked with a whole slew of people. He worked with Robin Hobb, Joe Abercrombie, Anne Rice, just people way more successful and famous than I am.
Wow.
And he's on Readsy, if you know what Readsy is. It's kind of like a place where you can just find vetted professional editors, cover artists, formatters. And
Okay.
I was actually nervous to reach out to him because I had like 20 Twitter followers and no following at all or anything. And I didn't think he'd want to work with me, but he was like, "Yeah, let's do it. Let's just write it. This sounds crazy. Let's write it." So, he was really good to me. That's why I'll use him for every book I ever write because when I didn't know what I was doing, he had my back. Like he was telling me about like PDF templates, cover sizes and trims, and I didn't know any of that, so it was very nice to learn.
Very cool. Yeah, they are. I'm gonna. Oh, you already did it. Yeah, they are really great. I see them and I'm like, this is just you can always tell when an artist digs what they're doing. You know,
Yeah.
like the topic that they're drawing or painting. It looks like it's like with Bill's book. You could tell that artist resonated with the message, and you can really see that here as well.
It's been really fun to talk to Bill about the whole art process because Bill worked with Felix Ortiz, who's probably like the top guy right now with all art. And you got like first drafts and second drafts and outlines and all that. I received nothing but the finished product. That was all I got. I told him what I wanted. He said, awesome. Didn't talk to me for 2 weeks. Then he's like, bam, book.
Dang.
So,
That's
and
pretty
the funny thing
incredible.
is, I loved all of them. So,
Well, so with these books, did you have I think you briefly mentioned it, but you had a circle of people around you that were beta reading, and like
yeah.
is this like a consistent group of people? How did you get involved with all of that? You mentioned 20 Twitter followers, and you were kind of just starting out. So how did you build up that community? I mean, right now you're
The honest answer is I have no idea. I really considered, because I did a cover reveal on Twitter and I got like 2 likes. And I kind of had this moment like, what the hell am I doing with my life? You know? But I just figured I didn't want to just waste all the hard work. So I just kept at it. I kept doing the fantasy prompts, if you ever see those.
Yep.
And I just kept posting and responding and being really positive. One of the first people I reached out to is Mike Roberti. Like, he seemed like a cool dude. I didn't know him, so I just read his book, gave it a 5-star, and he was like, "Hey, we're friends now." Yeah,
that's cool.
but I mean, that's kind of how it works. Is you just kind of nudge yourself into the community and hope they nudge you back.
Yeah.
Like,
Don't send you fleeing to the hills.
Yeah, like I remember Bill responded to one of my posts completely randomly and mentioned Pyeth. I was like, "Hey, he's reading my book," and now we're like really close friends. Like, it's just I don't even know how these things happen. They just.
I mean, to be honest, I think the thing for me, I saw your book cover in SPFBO last year, and in SPFBO 9, and I saw your cover, and I'm like, love that cover, and that probably had to have been, I don't know, maybe June of last year, give or take. I'm just I could barely remember last week, so it's like, but yeah, I think it was about a year and a couple months ago, and I saw the cover. And I'm like, okay, I need to read that book. I saw the blurb, and then started following you on Twitter and everything, and then you posted something, and I was like, yep, this is my character, and that was how we started.
Yeah, like a lot of it you kind of learn. You don't realize you're learning as you do it. Because like I would get mad. I would post memes at like 11:30 at night, and no one's watching. No one cares. No one's gonna pay attention. But if you make that same post at like 9:30 on a Friday, it's gonna get 100 likes.
Yeah,
And it's the weird stuff. Like you're being programmed to social media, even though you're not trying to. It's very strange.
Yeah, that's my least favorite part about it. But you have to feed the algorithm, unfortunately.
It does. I mean, everything gets overwhelming. Sometimes you have like 20 notifications and you want to respond, but you're just so busy.
Yeah.
Right. And
bring up the thing.
Well, I was going to say real quick that Bill is the architect of him and my social media, because I can't. My heart rate goes up and my anxiety goes up, and he's so wonderful.
Yeah, I mean that was me. My heart was really high yesterday. It's stressful. Like
how come? What?
So my book 3, my Amazon page isn't linked. So my ebook, paperback, and hardcover are not on the same page. And I emailed them, and they said they're going to fix it. But I mean, it's Amazon, so you just don't know what's going to happen. I had that. I had. I'm trying to fix. I have a really big formatting problem that Bill found actually in the hardcover. So I'm trying to get that fixed. I mailed a book to a reviewer and it got lost in the mail. And I mailed a book to Giametti and I had to pay like international tariffs. It's just like it's just a lot of stuff. It really is.
God. Well, I feel it coming on. I feel it
Here
coming
comes.
on. Oh, we've got
Right.
another
And
queen
hello, I
here.
saw Steve is here. Hello, Steve.
Hey, Steve. All right, let's see what we got here. We
Not to
got it.
interrupt, Steve. If you can hear me, can you? What day is the paperback coming out?
Oh,
Because I have inside information that it might be coming out soon.
we will post that. Steve, answer that question, please, in the
The
chat.
erstwhile killer one.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's a
Erstwhile
really
Tyler.
good book.
All right,
Oh, it's out
it's
already. Oh,
out.
so I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. So don't ignore me that.
Well, your
I have
insider
no inside
information is a couple days old.
Well, with that said, let's spin the little thingy. Tick, tick, tick,
Oh
tick,
man.
tick, tick. Oh no, no, no! Ah!
Oh
Oh,
man.
Ah,
that means Tim gets to choose a question for us, I guess.
So,
So, oh boy. Um, so who do you want to ask? You want me to answer a question or Bill to answer a question?
I'm gonna go with you, Dewey. I think I
Oh,
want to tap into that mind of yours.
oh wow.
I want to
Okay.
know what is Dewey Conway. You know.
All right. So I guess I'll spin, right? Okay.
where
Yes.
is Dewey Conway?
Who is Dewey Conway? Why is Dewey Conway? Okay.
Don't be sorry, Steve. Don't ever be sorry.
All right. Let's go. Number 9. I don't even know what this is. Who or what is your favorite video game character and
Oh,
why?
that's actually a really good question. So,
Tim,
Oh
we're going to ask
gosh.
you this one too because this is one I came up specifically for you.
Oh
Dewey's gotta
well.
go first.
Well, yeah. I have to think about this one. So who or what? I mean, I'm gonna. Y'all are gonna think I'm a dork, I guess, but it's between. It's got to be Link. I love Link. I love playing
That's a
Zelda.
safe answer. You know.
Yeah.
Which link though? Which link
Well.
though?
I really love the Super Nintendo Link to the Past
Link to the past.
Link, but I also this is where it gets controversial. I also like the Zelda 2 side-scrolling Link for the
that's-
NES, which is a really old game, but that was before Link was always from that top view.
That
It was
game is absolutely impossible. I had that
it's
as a kid, and it's unplayable.
well, especially when you play against Shadow Link.
I never even
Uh,
got that far.
yeah, that's I didn't beat that. All right, so Tim, I got to turn it back to you because this was a question for you
No, it's
specifically.
it's a very simple question, and at the same time, it's like impossible to answer because there's so many.
That's
I
why.
mean, I really like this is I really like Locke from Final Fantasy VI. He's an
Ooh.
and let me see. There's a lot more. Can I say Commander Shepard even though it's not exactly a character?
Well,
I
we
mean,
didn't say
why?
playable character.
Why?
Yeah.
No, because I mean it's kind of it's a character, but you're choosing all you. It's a very customizable character, so it's not like a uniform Commander Shepard. I'm going with Commander Shepard. That's my final answer.
Final answer.
Yeah.
Let's put it on the board.
And whammy. No, I guess Bill. Since we answered, what about you?
No, okay, yeah. I'll probably stick in the Final Fantasy and say I really loved Laguna from Final Fantasy
Ooh,
VIII.
that's a very obscure answer. Why?
Final Fantasy VIII. I love Final Fantasy VIII. I can't it's so underrated. I love that game. And when you go play as Laguna in the past, it's such a fun little side plot.
Yeah. He has a gun, which makes him probably the smartest Final Fantasy character.
Right. Right.
What's funny about that statement is I didn't really anytime I tried to think of what Zine looked like, I assumed Squall. But it was like absolutely the nice he was way too nice to ever be a Squall.
Yeah. I think Zine would be more like Zidane from Final Fantasy IX.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty fair. But he's less of
Just without the tail.
yeah.
And the blonde
Yeah.
Well,
Nine is another great game.
We need to talk about this.
Ooh.
This just came out. tell us all about this. The Whisper That Replaced God. This fantastic cover. I wish I would have made it a little bigger.
Oh, that's
Then it
okay. Yeah, so I mean, I just finished the trilogy, and I didn't know what to do after that. So I wanted to keep writing, but I didn't know how to even. Because the thought of starting over, starting a brand new trilogy from scratch, it's really one of the most harrowing things because you're just like, you know what it takes at that point, and you know what you're signing yourself up for. And you don't want to be one of those guys that writes one book and gives up on the series because then everyone hates you. So I mean, like, if you sign on to a new series, you have to make that series. So I wanted something a little not easier, but more accept. I guess easier is the best word to say it. And was afraid of it sounding too much like my trilogy, so I made it first person, single POV, and it's really obscure prose. I think is the best way to describe it.
I likened it, Dewey, to stream of conscious. I think the main character, and Tim, you can completely correct me if I'm getting this completely wrong, but it's almost like he's just kind of thinking as the story goes on, and he's just like, "This is
Yeah.
what my thoughts are, and this is what's going on the page," type thing.
but not
Yeah.
like Margaret Atwell stream of consciousness, like more just Timothy Wolff stream of consciousness, I guess.
I guess, yeah. It's funny because I'm reading Jackie's comment here. She writes voicey. And I think that's actually a good way to put it because she messaged me out of the blue one day and she goes, "You write well when you write voicey characters." And I'm like, I don't know what that means, but thank you. But now I do get it because it's a very, I don't know. I actually don't even know how to describe it, but it's like, it's unique.
I'm pulling up a bigger image of the cover because I want to talk about this cover
Yeah.
just a little bit here. Let's see, where is it?
This is the artist coming out in Dewey.
Yeah, I can't help it. I wanted to ask you when you first shared this cover with us. I was like, "Oh, holy hell, that is awesome! This is an
Yeah.
awesome
I mean,
cover."
I gave probably the most ridiculous description for this. It's almost become like a challenge at this point where I just tell my guy just like the worst descriptions and see if he could like make something amazing out of it.
Well, a lot of people have likened it to at least the eye and the cloud with the true form of angels. You know, the one of the 9 levels. I forgot which level it is, but likened it to an angel. Was that truly the description that
I
you?
told him biblically accurate angel, and he
Okay.
did exactly what I asked him to. Because I don't know what it is, but it's such a, I don't want to call it creepy, but it's a really ominous picture.
It's creepy. You can say it. It's creepy.
Yeah, because
I
I
think
mean,
that was
if
the
you
whole
think
point.
about people 2,000-3,000 years ago were imagining that was a thing and believing it was real. I mean, that's really, I don't know how you live your life thinking that those are out there. You know, I mean, that's got to be scary. You know?
Yeah. I don't know if I want to sleep under that. That's,
Yeah. And it's a simple design. I mean, it's not complicated. It doesn't have 10 arms and claws. It's just an eye with wings. And there's something about the simplicity of it that I really enjoy.
Yeah, it's really it's captivating, and the depth of the image itself too is it's like, oh my gosh, there's so
Yeah,
much
but
going
it's
on
cool.
here.
But the guy at the bottom is Mute, who's the main POV.
Okay. This is we didn't say this, but this is a novella. So,
Yeah, standalone novella.
okay. And it just came out, but did you mention that it's like, have you entered it into anything or like?
I'm going to put it into Baby Bow, where I thoroughly expect it to be eliminated a week later.
Wait, okay.
Yeah.
I'm ignorant. What is that? I don't know.
It's like the novella version of Spiff Bow.
And I barely know what that is.
Yeah.
even though we're in it, right?
Even though we're in it, I barely know. I mean, it's like all these people.
Yeah, but I suck at these things, and that's okay. I mean, it's like I got bounced from Spiffbo and BBNY, which I forgot I was in.
Oh my gosh.
I got a random email and it's like, "Hey, you have been eliminated." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
How do you handle that? Like, how do you? Because Bill knows how I am. I'm real sensitive, and will get out my voodoo doll and start poking it with pins,
Yeah.
with critics. How do you handle that? Like
Well, that's
being
one
a
of the things. Like the first month I was published, I was an absolute sensitive mess. I was so afraid of everything. I would literally have nightmares about waking up to like 1-star reviews.
oh
And now I just don't care at all. I mean, because there are people out there who love my work, and the fact that they exist means the people who don't like my work don't matter. So it really is that simple.
yeah, it really you hit your mark. Like
Yeah.
when we get messages about the kids enjoying Tana, it's like, oh my gosh, that makes everything better. Everything.
Yeah. I mean, like once there's people, you appreciate them more than you don't appreciate the people who don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still annoying though, especially the first ones. Like, Bill, if you don't mind me bringing it up, I know you just got your first 1-star.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know it does suck, but I mean, it's a feeling you can only that first 1-star is a feeling you only get once.
Yeah. And I think it was not so much the 1-star itself. It was I opened myself up to a lot of further criticism on the socials, and I think that's what got me more than the actual 1-star itself. So I don't know if you felt the same way once you got that, because I remember we talked about you got some 1-stars from NetGalley,
Yeah,
with your arcs, and it was like some big guy that had like 1 billion followers, and it got like 1 million up likes, and that you said when we were talking about before, you were like, that kind of solidified it for me that some people just aren't going to like it,
yeah,
and you
that
kind
was
of have to
actually
get
really
past
funny
that.
because I remember I was just sitting there on my chair, and I was doing scrolling through emails, and it's like NetGalley. I don't know if you guys have ever used NetGalley, but you get an email that says feedback received, and that goes from the most exciting thing in the world to complete total dread real quick. So I actually was killing it up to that point. I had almost a 5-star average, which was like very surprising to me. And then I opened the email and it was a 1-star. I was like, well, it finally happened. Whatever. I swear to God, I felt relieved because it was one of those things you always dread it's going to happen. And once it happened, it was over with. It was done. And then I checked Goodreads a few hours later, and it was like my most high voted review with like 20 people commenting on it, kind of like high fiving each other how much I suck. And I was like, damn, it hurt a little more than I thought it would.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I guess the only way you can look at it, and right, is it is what it is. It's
Yeah,
like,
exactly. There's no other way to look at it.
yeah, you can dwell on it and then spiral, or you can just keep writing for the people that enjoy your books.
And the
And
funny thing is, like, I got a 5-star and a 1-star in the same day, and I was like, this doesn't make any sense until you realize it's all perspective.
yep,
I mean, some people just think you suck. You'll never change their mind.
I will say that writing, I joke about being sensitive, and I am, but the reason for that is because being an artist, being an author is a very introspective activity. You've gone through a lot to get it to where it is.
Yeah.
Like yourself and your person and your soul, and you've just gone through this. People say you've gone through a journey. It really is a journey. It really is a journey of the soul. I respect the people who would like Bill, who would say and give criticisms from that perspective, knowing that this is your work and your art and your life journey. I'm going to gently critique you to help you along the way, versus those that are just, like you said, high-fiving each other and having this little celebration of
Yeah,
being
but I mean, I totally agree with
encouraged.
you, but you got to go into this knowing that you don't control the rules.
yeah,
Once you hit
Oh,
that publish
right,
button, you get whatever you get, and that's
right. And
that's
so
exactly.
so that but that perspective helps to determine what I take in.
Yeah,
So these people that make these comments and whatever, if it's really coming from a place of just being oh, look at me, I know better, I know all this, or whatever. If it's coming from a place that's not constructive, then I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine,
Yeah,
whatever. You
it's
can think
nice. I
that,
mean, I have 4 books out now, and
and they're loved. I mean,
yeah.
I've read the
So
reviews. It's
what
like,
do I care? It's just a thing that happens. And it's like funny though, because someone gave me a 2 star, and then 8 months after the fact, they reduced it to a 1 star. And I was like, man, that's someone who really hated this book. It's like they had that book on the mind, and they were like, no, this has got to go to 1.
Wow. They must have like put it in their Google calendar and be like, you know what? Enough time has passed. I have to just ruin his day again,
Yeah,
right?
but I mean, it's just hilarious. After a while, it kind of gets funny because it's like, man, it's you got to think people spent hours reading something that made them unhappy, and I mean
Yeah. Like, wow.
that's gotta suck.
To come back 8 months later, wow.
oh my gosh, that's really funny. It's like watching a TV show that's like you watch that first, second episode, like The Acolyte, which I couldn't finish. I don't know if you are
Ooh.
Star Wars fans. Yeah, did you watch it, Bill?
No, I'm sorry, I'm making my face to Jackie's comment here. That's pretty rough.
Oh, ew, that's terrible, Jackie.
Really?
Yeah, that's some dedication there. You have to go.
Well, yeah, the
yeah,
irony, exactly. Tim on here saying the irony
Yeah, but I
of
mean,
that.
you absolutely will develop thick skin just by the nature of the business. Like my
yeah.
first month, I was just really nervous and sensitive about everything. Like if someone walked up to me in the street and like, "Hey, you're ugly, unsuccessful, and you will die alone," I'd be like, "All right, that's kind of mean, but whatever." But if they're like, "Your prose on chapter 14 was weak," I'd be like, "Ah."
That's no, it's funny you say that, Tim, because like that the other day I was actually pretty angry at some of the comments on there, like Dewey mentioned. It's like I know I opened myself up for the commentary. I opened it up. Perfectly fine. You can have your opinions. But then like for me, what really pissed me off is like don't assume that I didn't make a stylistic choice and have been working on this book forever. Like don't assume that. That's like you can not like the prose all you want, but don't assume that this was not a choice. Like
Yeah,
to
but I
write the
mean,
way
they
I
don't
write.
care. It's not.
No,
It's one of those things where you can't describe to someone why they're wrong. It
yeah,
doesn't just know.
they're
It,
just not going to listen.
Well,
Oh, here we go.
I feel it coming on. Oh no, here it comes! Here it comes! Oh, wait,
More
where,
questions.
there it is, there it is. All right, yay! Okay, let's see what we get this time, Tim. There's some good questions in here, and I hope,
yeah.
No, we're going to get to them all. Don't worry, because we're just going to go
Oh.
through all of them at this point.
Oh, well, then why am I spinning? Okay, what is this? 6.
Well, the
Okay.
order could be fun. We need to have some fun.
Picture it. Stallone, Arnie, and Van Damme in a cage match. Who would win? Who has the
Absolutely Van
best
Damme.
one-liner? Van Damme?
Yeah, because of Bloodsport.
Thank you.
Bloodsport is one of the greatest movies of all time.
Yes, it is. And
So-
also like the best soundtrack ever and best montage of him running through Hong Kong
Oh my god.
in a
Uh,
blazer that's way too big and yellow.
So
Such
what's
a
his
great
one-liner?
movie. He
What
actually
would you
doesn't really
say?
have any one-liners, which is his greatest weakness, but it doesn't
That's
matter.
because he
I
can't
mean,
talk.
Yeah, he can't talk. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
But
Van Damme is the one that you just want him to stand there and just look pretty and roundhouse kick and split everybody.
Like it was on Netflix during quarantine. So I mean, it was probably like 6, 7 nights. I would just sit there with a glass of scotch and just watch Van Damme do the kumite.
oh
What was
my
the name of the bad guy in that? I can't remember. Chang or I think it was
No,
Chang.
it's oh my god, why can't I think of his real name is
Chong Li.
Bolo
Is it
Young.
Chong Li?
Chong Li, yes.
Yeah.
And then you get Tong Po from Kickboxer, who is not Korean or Thailand.
That
from
movie I don't
Thailand.
really like, but his introduction as a character is one of the best in any movie. when
Which
he's
one?
kicking the kickboxer.
Oh
When
yeah,
the
where he's kicking the
antagonist is
post.
kicking the pillar and the whole building is shaking. That's really awesome.
Yeah, his character. So did you know, Tim, that the guy that plays Tong Po is the guy that Chong Li breaks his leg in Bloodsport?
No, absolutely did not know that.
Yep. So my love of IMDb and knowing the trivia behind movies, that guy Michael Kesey and Jean-Claude Van Damme grew up together and like trained together. So that's his
Oh.
buddy.
I never would have known that.
Well, the more you know.
So my first Van Damme movie was not Bloodsport or Kickboxer. It was Cyborg.
Cyborg? Yes. That's the next
Yeah.
best one.
Yeah, Cyborg is wow.
Bad,
Especially
but
when
great.
it's terrible. But when she takes off her hair and reveals the whole little that stop motion. It
Is that the
freaked
one
me out
with,
when I was a kid.
Michael Jai White?
No.
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 Okay.
I don't
So
know who else
Cyborg is it's another 80s movie. It's supposed to be in the near future dystopia. You know, there's a plague that took over America, and it's
Yeah.
basically Van Damme trying to rescue the cyborg lady from a bunch of bad guys, and he just
But-
kills
But-
everybody one
But
at
she
a time.
carries a cure. She carries a cure for the right or something.
Yeah,
I
so
don't
she
know.
has the cure. She has the cure, but he just kills everybody one by one. That's like the whole plot of the movie is just him killing everybody.
Well, that should be the
And-
plot of the movie. I mean,
I mean, what can you're not going to ask him to recite Hamlet in a movie.
Yeah.
You're just going to put him in a movie and go, okay, see that guy, go kick him.
but the older I get, the more I appreciate Stallone. Because like the first two Rocky movies are really good.
Oh, yeah.
hindsight.
Amazing movies. He's
I mean-
actually not a bad actor. He just
No, he's good. You know, it's like-
Yeah. Sometimes he goes into caricature, like in the Expendables movie, and I just like to watch him blow up fake things.
Yeah.
With the green screen blood flowing everywhere.
And did you know he had a brother that was an actor? Do you all ever?
He's a
No idea.
yeah. His
Frank
brother was the
Stallone.
one that directed, or no, he actually directed Staying Alive, which is the sequel to Saturday Night Fever. Frank Stallone.
I didn't know that.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I have heard of Frank Stallone. He's in some
Frank-
weird movies.
So he was in the Rocky movies. He's the guy that sings around the fire bucket or the garbage can where they're all singing.
Huh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's
Never
the
knew
one
that.
singing.
You guys know
Yeah,
a
that's
lot
his
more
brother.
about these movies than I do.
I do. I know way too much about movies, unfortunately.
Yeah, but Frank Stallone doesn't have the the look thing.
No. Well, he
and-
also doesn't have steroids, and he looks normal. And
yeah, he's much lesser. He's like he's much less known. Let's do another one then. If we're
yeah,
gonna
let's do another one.
do another one. 4. We got 4.
I like how the numbers disappear after you get them.
Yeah,
Okay, so Tony Stark, Steve Rogers, or Thor? Who would you kiss, marry, or kill?
Man, I was not prepared for these sort of questions.
Books? What books? I want to know who you'll kiss.
Well, all right. So let's think about this analytically. I'm probably going to marry Tony Stark because he's the only one that can die, and then you get all his money.
Okay.
okay, that's yeah.
And I mean, you can't kill Captain America. You can't kill Thor either. Damn.
Gotta pick
I was
one.
going to say, just because Thor is really easy on the eyes, so I guess we'll kill Captain America and we'll marry Thor.
But that's America's ass.
Yeah, but I mean, listen, tough choices get tough answers.
Yeah,
Okay.
that
We'll
is
allow.
hard. I'm going to stop sharing. That's enough of that. Killing America's ass. I don't know. America's beard and America's ass. At least. Yeah. What do you think about that? What do you think about Robert Downey coming back as Doctor Doom? You've heard that, right?
Yeah, I mean, for me, Endgame was the end of Avengers for me. I kind of said, this is the perfect ending. I have no interest in seeing anymore.
Yeah.
And I mean, it wasn't like, I still respect, I like the fact that they're still trying, but I kind of had enough. I've seen so many superhero movies in such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
I
And
really have lost interest.
isn't that amazing? Like the Avengers, it really is the last one that was just good.
Yeah, I saw it in a
So,
movie theater in Atlanta, and I mean that was one of the greatest experiences. Is like when I guess this isn't a spoiler anymore because it's been so long.
No,
When Captain America gets the
years.
hammer, the theater went nuts. I mean, it was like crazy.
oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
It was like that was probably my best experience in any movie ever, like in a theater.
that was such a great multi-movie arc of him actually getting the hammer, and it was
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
so it lost our minds because I was in the theater. I wasn't with you, but I was spiritually with you, and oh, God,
I remember like people trying to hop on to Marvel at that point just so they can watch Avengers. And if it's you seem like a psycho, you're like, oh, you gotta go back to Captain America 1, and you want to watch Thor 1, and you gotta name like 9 movies before you can even
yeah,
think of watching this one.
yeah.
Well, I
My
think that's
mother,
also what their problem has been, and I mean, we can go into like a 2-hour discussion on this. They try to cram too much extra, and go the DC way, and try to like make you care about characters that haven't been built up. And
Yeah.
I watched the only one I've watched the show wise was WandaVision, which I thought was amazing, and then Doctor Strange 2, which Doctor Strange was one of my favorite Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange 2 completely just obliterated WandaVision. And
yeah,
I was just like, at this point, I'm done. And I could not believe how bad it was. And then you have Sam Raimi, who is like the godfather of, some of this stuff, like these types of movies. And like, it was a kind of horror movie almost. And like, you'd
Yeah.
think he'd be perfect for it. I hated Doctor Strange 2. And I haven't, the only one that I saw since, the only thing I've watched since was that Spider-Man with, when Toby and Andrew were in it. I can't even remember the name of it anymore.
Homecoming, I think it was called.
No Way Home.
No Way Home. That was a
Okay.
Homecoming was the first one.
yeah.
I don't remember the second one.
I think it's No Way Home. I think you're right.
Yeah. Either way, like I haven't. The only one, like I'm gonna go see Deadpool and Wolverine, even though I didn't like Deadpool 2 as much.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I'm just kind of. I saw so many superhero movies in such a short amount of time that I really got burnt out.
Yeah, it's been forever since I've been to the theater, but I think I'm going to go for Deadpool. I'd like to see it on the big screen.
Yeah.
I wanted to see Dune 2
Yeah.
on the big screen, but life.
I want
you
to
know.
see Gladiator 2. I mean, I don't know
That's gonna
why
be good.
there's a Gladiator 2, but I do want to see it.
I want to see it.
Yeah.
I think it's. I mean, Ridley Scott has been, up and down in his career, but Gladiator, if he does it the same way or similar way to the first movie, it's gonna be great. Like as a
Yeah.
continuation, I think it could be really great.
Yeah, it should be. I mean, just it's one of those movies that I don't think you can really, if you follow the formula, it should succeed.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Just don't go all Prometheus on it.
Yeah.
I love Prometheus. I thought I liked Prometheus as a movie, but as an alien movie, not so much.
Yeah, its own movie. Its own movie. It
Yeah.
was good, but
Like
trying
as
to
a
connect-
sci-fi movie, Prometheus was awesome, but
Yeah.
as an alien movie,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad that Denis Villeneuve did Blade Runner 2049 or 2049, whatever it is, the
Yeah.
sequel to Blade Runner.
Yeah.
I'm glad he did that because it was so good, so good. I think it's almost better than the first one in some ways.
That's interesting. I haven't seen that one, but it's hard to believe it's better than the original.
In different ways.
Okay.
And I'll agree with Tim here. Covenant was really good too. I like Covenant. Aside from them killing off the character.
I haven't seen it. I have not
it's
seen
not
Covenant.
a spoiler. It's not a spoiler because she's not in the cast. So it doesn't matter.
So Tim, I want to ask you, with your novella just out, what's next for you? Like, what are you doing?
So
Next.
I'm writing a full-length novel that's in the same world as the novella.
Oh,
Its current title is Requiem of Dice. And I'm about 95 pages in. and I don't know what the hell is going on, but it's coming along.
It's in the same style, like the stream of
No.
consciousness.
So the novella is single point of view, first person, and this one is back to basics. It's multi third person, and
Okay.
I can't decide if it's 20 or 30 years after the first book or the novella.
Is Age of Arrogance the last in the legacy of Boulogne, or
Yeah, that's the
okay,
end of the road. It's over.
okay. How does
If
that feel that it's over? Like getting to
um,
that end.
I'm kind of okay with it now. When I first finished it, I had like this feeling of overwhelming dread because it was like, oh my god, I can't do this anymore. I can't. I'll never write this point of view ever again. That's a hard thing to come to terms with. Because
Wow.
it's one thing if you kill somebody. If you kill them and they're dead. That's one thing. But they're alive and they moved on from you.
Yeah.
So with that, so who is the one that you're sad about most leaving out of the characters that are still, or no, I guess ones that have died, because you do have a tendency to kill some characters off, which I'm very pleased about.
Yeah,
Which character out of all of it are you sad about letting go?
that's a good question. I don't. It's funny. I actually really enjoy writing Francis, but everybody hates Francis. Everybody. He is the most unpopular character I've ever written. One of the funniest things I ever saw was someone was doing a live, not a live reading, but they posted they were reading my book and put their like reactions as they were reading it,
Yeah.
and there was like 10 posts in a row, all just railing on Francis. And as probably I've never been more happy as an author because I was like, man,
You wrote a character that people hate. That's a
yeah.
good thing.
And the weirdest part is like I kind of take my own toxic traits and exaggerated them to make Francis. And as I see everyone hates him, I'm like, man, I really gotta tone down on being a dickhead.
You're like, do these people really hate me too? Is that like...
Yeah. So it's if you ever want to learn about, if you want to do some introspection, write a character similar to yourself and see if everyone hates them.
I mean, the thing I like most about Francis and what you did is like he's so awkward in his own mind,
Yeah.
and like whenever you're like, I should say something, I have to say something. Like I thought that was fun. Like I liked that part. But yeah, most of the time I wanted to punch Francis in the face.
Yeah. But like there's like that irrational anger, minor inconveniences.
Yeah.
Like someone like I get a coffee from Starbucks and someone will start talking to me. I'm like, oh my god, why is this person talking to me? And then like 10 minutes later, it's like, why am I mad that that person's talking to me? Like, what do I have to do that's better than that? It's-
Hey, Dave is here. Hey,
So
Dave.
Dave says,
Dave's the man.
oh,
And that's been I'm glad you said that because that's been I think one of my biggest weaknesses in marketing this novella is I can't seem to convince people it's not from the trilogy. Everyone just keeps thinking it's the trilogy.
why do you think that is?
I mean, why not? It kind of looks like the art design is similar.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Maybe the art design.
Because like you
But
have gods and you have we all have weird stuff on the trilogy. So you see weird stuff on the novella, like, oh, this is more of the same.
yeah.
Because I'm trying to get it so I have different starting points for my work. Because I don't want it to be like if you don't like Platinum Tinted Darkness, you just write me off forever. Because that would
Yeah.
suck. So I try to expand what's available.
So when do you
So
anticipate having this book completed? Your first book in this
I
new
don't know.
series?
I mean, I'm the burnout is more real than I realized.
Oh,
But I'm working
like
towards it.
finishing burnout or just burnout of in general?
Well, I mean, I wrote this entire trilogy in like less than 3 years.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
pretty impressive.
looking back, that was a monumental undertaking, and that was a truck to my mental health. I mean, it really was. But
I
I've
mean,
learned to
yeah.
kind of write because I was one of those guys that thought if you don't write 7 days a week, you're never going to get it done. And now I've kind of moved on from that just because it's not possible. You can do it for months, you can do it for maybe a year or two, but you can't do it forever. you will go nuts. You know?
Yeah. So then it'll be out when it's out,
I'm
right?
I want to finish the first draft before the end of the year.
Ah,
And I'm 28,000 words. I'm aiming for around 100, 110. It's possible. I don't think I'll do it, but it is the goal. And if I don't reach that goal, I'm not going to be hard on myself.
Yeah, I mean, even if you got close to like 2/3 of the way done in the next 4 months, you should be able to get that out by next summer. Give
Oh,
or take.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah. No,
It
that's
is.
cool.
It is. The burnout is real, though. You know, it hits hard.
So if this is taking place in the same world and it's like 20, 30 years, however many thing is there going to be any reference to mute in this book?
Yes, there already has been in the stuff I've written.
Okay.
I'm waiting to see how much people like Mute before I. If people hate this novella, I'm gonna obviously distance myself from it and be like, "Oh, Mute died 50 years ago." But if this ends up kind of taking off and being a big hit, I'm gonna just have him show up and be like, "Hey, I'm back," you know, just something like that. So it's a
Still
work
learn his
in
math.
progress. Yeah. Well, that's actually I didn't realize this, but the clever I didn't. This was the unintentionally clever thing was if he doesn't wear a mask in a different kingdom, you would never know who he was.
Yeah.
mm.
So I've had a character where I'm like, I could make you mute, but I don't know. I'll have to wait.
Ooh.
Yeah.
No. Pegs. I want to clear the record right now. Pegs would destroy Mute in any form in any combat. It would be a tragedy. I mean,
Oh my gosh. All right.
I'd make it an hour without bringing up Pegs. That's so sad.
Well, we almost went the whole time. It's okay. Well, do we bring that up? Let's do one more question, and then let's call it a night if no one else has any questions. But let's go out on a banger.
All righty. Let's see what we got here. 8. Okay. What is 8? Oh.
Ooh.
Which do you think is more likely to exist, aliens or ghosts, and why? And do you actually believe it?
That's a tough question. Probably aliens. I mean, you're gonna really reveal my lack of intelligence here. I don't have a whole lot to say about this, but I guess aliens. This seems like one of those things where the universe is so massive. Statistically, there probably are other life forms.
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't think we'd ever run into them just because of like the limitations of like light speed and stuff. But anything's possible.
Have you experienced either one before, like an alien or a ghost or some kind of paranormal?
No, I don't want to give a
happening?
boring answer, but I don't believe in ghosts.
Okay.
I said the same thing. Don't worry, Tim.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's okay to be wrong. It's okay.
No, that's fair.
I'm just playing.
The thought
All right.
of someone being dead and then wasting their time watching me is probably the saddest thing I've ever thought of.
As you're sitting there folding your laundry and they're just watching you.
Yeah, just like trying to decide how many semicolons I want to use in this paragraph.
Or M dashes. All right. We got one more. Let's do 10. What is your favorite go-to bad movie to watch on a rainy day? Okay. Well, I guess
Bloodsport doesn't count.
Yeah.
I gotta think about that. You know, I'm kind of moved on from the bad movies, but I had that phase, and it was a good phase. It was a long phase. We really enjoyed. I forget the name. Nicolas Cage is in it, and he plays like a coked out guy, which doesn't narrow it down at all. But I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about.
Let's see. Let's pull up his IMDb and just go down the list. Okay.
Are we thinking like 90s movies?
Yeah. So there's a scene.
Ghost Rider.
Goes- goes-
Oh,
Snake
I'm
Eyes.
gonna save us some time. Samurai Cop's a really fun.
oh,
bad movie.
Samurai Cop. Oh my god, that's terrible. Terrible
Yeah,
movie.
Like Snake Eyes.
No, it wasn't Snake Eyes. I
No?
will remember it the second I turn my phone off, though. But then I'll be laying there in bed wondering why. I
Face
didn't
Off.
watch it.
No, he was the.
But Face Off is a great movie.
Well, I mean, yeah. God, he's been in some recent ones too, like some.
Well, yeah.
recent movies
Like
where he's
if we're
been-
talking '90s movies,
I think it was 80s.
'80s.
Oh, not Raising Arizona.
Raising Arizona.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we'll have to think about that one.
Yeah.
But Samurai Cop's a perfectly good answer because
Man,
Bill, have
wow.
you seen Samurai Cop?
Yes, I have.
Oh, okay. Because yeah,
National Treasure.
oh no.
This is gonna bother me, Tim.
It's bothering me. I feel like we've ruined this whole interview because now we're just sitting here trying to think of what the movie is.
Con Air.
No, it's a terrible movie. It's not a good one. Let me see if I can Google it real quick.
Well,
Yeah, Google it. We need to know what this movie.
so if you're just tuning in, we're looking up
We'll get back
a
to
movie
this. I don't wanna-
with a
I will
coked
obsess
out
over
Nick
this.
Cage.
What?
I screwed this up. I've caused so many problems right now.
While Tim is looking this up, is there anybody in the chat who's watching live have any question for Mr. Wolff before we head out?
That sounds
that's
like
a good movie.
a big no from the chat.
Well, I think they're all on the same quest as you are.
Yeah.
Fine.
Man, if you ever want to, people should research how to ruin your own interview. It's like,
Nick Cage. Let's do 80s.
Here we go. Here's a question for you, Tim.
that's a good question. I don't know. It's hard to answer. I just generally like you. There's not like one thing where I says that's Bill's good trait. You're just a solid good dude, you know.
I can handle that. That's a good answer. Puff up my ego over here, Tim. Thank you.
Now I want to say your writing is very impressive. Like when I read Tana, I was like, "There's absolutely no way this is someone's first book because this is like really good." And then I read God's Blood, and I was like, "Damn, this is like."
Well, I appreciate you say that, but Dewey definitely did write a big, huge chunk of Tana, so I only had a little bit of say in that. So
Just a little bit.
just a little bit.
But I mean, yeah, it's Bill flavor is definitely in it. Let's see. At some point, Tim, I'm gonna slip in. Remember. All right. Well,
I want to. Let me see, I might get this to work without knocking over my whole stack. I have a very rare book, which no matter how many. There we go. Rise of Dreska. This is the original Tim McKay book. He has a new one coming in. I don't know the release date, but the pre-order is tomorrow. So definitely make sure you check that out.
So is this
Tim.
the one that both Tims can answer this? This is the one that you're combining into one book? Is that
Yeah.
what
Yeah, I bought the first one, and then Tim was like, "Don't read this book. I'm going to re-release it." So it sits on my shelf forever. Oh,
Good.
actually, I just remember that Tim sent me an ebook. I got to read that. That was definitely one of those things where I was like, "I will absolutely read this," and then life.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. So
oh wow!
Tim
Congratulations,
doing
Tim.
things.
I gotta read Tim's arc so I can have that ready. And I also want to shout out who's here, Jackie, who is Your Blood and Bones, or better known as Wybab or Wabab.
That's a novella too, right?
Yeah, it's very good.
I think I have that, and I definitely have Daughters of Tith in my Kindle. It's in there, and I got
Nice.
Steve's Wings of Ashtaroth. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. That I'm liking. I'm just not gonna lie, that's a long book, so it's
Yeah.
taking me a little bit of.
No, it's funny you said. I've loaded Wings of. I always say the name wrong. Wings of Astaroth. I've loaded it into my Kindle about 4 times, and then I see at the bottom it's like 15 hours remaining. I'm like, not today.
Yeah, it's like 1,400 pages. It's
Yeah.
I'm really digging it, but it's gonna take me about a year to do. Just because it's a little long.
It's just funny because like I read Earthwhile Tyler Kyle, and I'm not exaggerating when I say it really is brilliant. It's such a great book. The prose is amazing. And as soon as I finished it, I was like, I want to read more Steve. And there's a 1,500-page Steve book, and I'm like, I don't want to read that book. So it's like, I don't even know what I want in my life.
Yeah, we need. Okay, I'm not much of an audiobook person, Steve, but let's get on that one. Well, we might have to do like a Kickstarter from everybody because 1,500 pages to audiobook might be like $50,000. So
I can't even guess. That'd be very pricey. And I want to shout out Dave too. I feel like Dave has a release coming out pretty soon.
If you listen to Dave, he messed up some stuff and he had to push it back, and then Amazon changed everything, so he lost all his pre-orders. But now he's got about 1 billion ARC signups because Dave is a marketing HOE. He likes to market really well, and I could joke with Dave because we're secret scribes together, and that's what we do is make fun of each other in our Discord chat. But Dave's book, his book is called, oh, there we go, October 19th, The Envoys of War is what it's called. I haven't read it yet. Dave is withholding it, but I'm looking forward to that one too.
Yeah, there's a lot of good things coming out, and last but not least, you got to buy my book 3 immediately.
Yes, this book right here, Age of Arrogance. I just finished it on Wednesday. It was awesome. The ending is really cool, and also one of the best epilogue title names. Here, I'm going to show you everybody, because Tim is one thing that I will always say is Tim is great at naming his chapters. He has always been very good, but this one, oh, you're not even going to be able to see it. It is called Cheese.
Yes.
That's the chapter title for the epilogue, and it is really funny.
Yeah,
Which is it's kind of funny based on what happens in the book. It's a funny chapter and ending. So
I appreciate Dave's comment. You know, it's funny. I was writing those, and it was. I'm so glad I have like a full trilogy, because if I was new, I would never have the confidence to put that in there. And now I just don't care anymore. You know, if people read it and they think it absolutely sucks, I don't even care. You know, it's like whatever.
Well, that's what I love. So there's Pleasant Reads, and then there's Rainforest.
Yeah.
Which is
when
funny.
I started writing, I wanted Newt to be like a really serious character, like a Rorschach or something like that.
Yeah.
And then like 3 pages, and like, this is not going to work. This is going to be not, at all.
Yeah, not with that voice, like that. The writing voice, it would not have been a Rorschach.
Yeah, because I mean, the potential was there, but I just don't excel at that. I kind of the wacky tones and the
I don't know if it would have worked as well. Like it would have just been a little too dark.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned. I want to see how people react to the ending. So far, it's been positive, but I know someone's eventually going to blow me up on Goodreads.
Well, some people just don't like melancholy, so that's. But well, everyone, thank you, Tim, especially thank you for joining a Schmudgeon of Curmudgeon. I love your books. Obviously, I talk about them all the time. I'm getting my dad to read them.
That's awesome.
He hasn't touched it yet because he's still only like 10 pages in my book, and it's taking forever. So
yeah.
But he has them, so I'm going to get him to read them. But I am so thankful to you, and I said this privately, but I'll say it publicly. You were definitely one of the big reasons why I got to this point in self-publishing. You were a big help and source of information, and I couldn't have done it without you being part of it. So I thank you for that. And also, I want to thank you for joining the WWP, Will Wraith Press, as a Will Wraith guy and fun person to be around. So thank you, Tim, for joining us. And
Thank you
again,
for
this
having me.
is Schmudgeon of Curmudgeon. Tim, any last parting words before we head out?
Buy my book immediately.
You said it.
I'm like
Dewey?
immediately. Not even like, don't even wait 10 minutes. Just buy it right now. Yeah.
These are
There
the
you
three,
go. All
and,
three of them.
and there's a novella. So
Yeah.
check it out, guys. Well, yeah, we mask our curmudgeon well.
Yeah.
And I
That's what-
appreciate learning what that word means because I thought it was about clubbing people. So I learned a
a
lot.
curmudgeon may bludgeon. Yeah.
Yes,
Nice.
exactly.
Tim,
All
it's
right,
been awesome.
everyone.
We'll-
Thank you
so
very
much.
much for joining. Talk
Thanks
to
for
you.
having me.
Bye.
Bye-bye.